All right. Where are, hold on, y'all. It's not giving me what I need. All right. I don't know if that, I do not see. Give me a second. Why is that doing that? Hmm, Stop the share real quick. I'm trying to make sure that I have. All right. So the captions are on. I don't know why I can't see it for whatever reason. I can see it now. I couldn't see it before. They weren't populating on the screen. Are y'all able to see the? Okay, there they are. I was wondering why they weren't there. All right, y'all. Let's get started. Everybody else, they can just join in late. Um, y'all got any questions before we actually get started on some of the trades that we took this week that maybe you didn't realize why we were taking them, or anything really, or if you were actually taking trades of your own and get rid of this gum, or if you were taking trades on your own and they just didn't pan out, or they panned out, but whatever y'all actually want to kind of go over before I get started. Y'all can unmute yourselves and then you can ask away. Otherwise, we'll wait till the end and then y'all can ask y'all questions then. Either way, let me know. Nothing? All right. All right, so let's start from the top. All right, so let's go over US 30. All right, so let's break down US 30. I feel US 30 is going to continue to keep going to the upside. All right. I was hoping that it was playing around a lot on Friday. Okay. Um, it was playing around a lot on Friday. And I definitely was anticipating us. I thought we were going to get a way bigger push to the upside. Okay. As you've seen here, this is from last week. All right. I had already was anticipating this big buy. All right. I had mentioned I'm only looking for buying opportunities. All right. On US 30. I'm only looking for buying opportunities on US 30. I wasn't looking for any sales down here. I had a feeling Trump was going to come in and actually pause the tariffs, um, and then we get a big push to the upside. Now, I knew we needed a hard pullback, so I always say this, and y'all got to understand this too. The news never dictates how the market's going to go. All right, price action dictates what the news is going to be. All right, so I already knew based off of price action, based off of what I was seeing on the chart, we'd have a big push to the upside. Now, how did we end up getting that big push to the upside? Well, then he ended up pausing the tariffs, and then they just used that to basically move the market in the way it should have went anyway. All right. So just keep that in mind. That's why I don't really get too hung up on the fundamental aspect of trading, because the fundamentals is only going to last for a short time. And then once the market is done, all right, correcting itself based off of that news event, the market will go back to normal trading. All right. But I did mention that this was going to take place. All right. So um, we ended up, we were becoming very oversold. All right. On the higher time frame, such as the daily, the 4 hour. Okay. We were becoming very, very oversold. All right. And once we started, actually, if I zoom this out a bit, okay, Once we started reaching down here into these levels, I knew price was coming down here. Ended up swiping liquidity. Ended up swiping liquidity at the lows. All right. Ended up swiping liquidity at the lows. All right, and then ended up reversing. So I knew that was more than likely going to be a thing that took place. All right. Now, and that was the big push. Now I'm still anticipating US 30 in this coming week to actually push more to the upside. All right. We're going to push more to the upside on US 30. Now, let me get rid of this for a second here. All right. Now, I'll go over these two trades here. Those are the two trades that we actually took. I could have gave y'all bigger take profits, but the way the market is kind of moving, we've been pushing up big, slamming down big. All right, so I got to make sure that you guys are Bobby, mute your phone for me. So we ended up pulling back big and then resuming direction. So kind of going over our trade last week. Now we got this gap up here, so I know more than likely price is going to come up here and fill this gap in for sure in US 30. I think on NAS, we'll get over to NAS. I think NAS covered it, but US 30 still has not made its move. So we definitely are looking good. Now, when we created this low here and then we ended up pulling back right here, all right, notice we never actually broke structure. Okay, we never broke structure here. We ended up creating a double bottom right here, giving us a nice bullish engulfing right off this level. All right, giving us that nice bullish engulfing right off that level, and then price took off. So all as this did, this pullback, this was needed. Okay, we ended up creating higher high here. We definitely broke structure right here. Now, if y'all can notice, when price came back to this level, all we did was respect this level. Okay, we respected this previous high here, created some nice support right on this level. Now, as I go down the time frame, all right, I was looking for something specific here. So on the 1 hour time frame, I was looking for this upper trend line that was forming here. I wanted to see that broke. Now this broke at night during the London session. And then now when we had jumped in on Friday, I couldn't give you guys too big of a stop loss here because, again, these candles are massive. They don't look very big, but they are massive. And just this stop loss alone was 205 points. All right. And I knew I didn't want the stop loss right here. I really wanted it lower, but I have to protect you guys' accounts too. Okay. So I couldn't give you guys too big of a stop loss, even though I knew that this stop loss was kind of tight. All right. And that's kind of why I was mentioning on Friday, I still like our initial entry. So as price was pushing back, all right, it was pulling back to the upside. We'll look at it as we go down the time frame here. I knew that this was still a great buy. Okay. We were still respecting structure here. Notice we were not breaking below this point. Okay. Price was attempting, but these are exhaustion, right? These are exhaustion candles. Price attempted to sell below and pull back above. Price attempted again. That is a higher low, right? We did not break this low. That's a higher low. And then price pushed up. Now, the moment I seen that we broke this upper trend line, I knew that we were game on for the buy. Okay. So we should be targeting up here at these highs. But like I said, more than likely, we're going to break this structure up here, creating a higher high situation and coming up here, all right, to these highs up here. Then we can kind of see where we're at, all right? But for now, we're going to continue to keep playing the buy side on US 30. Can we pull back? Sure. So the market can do a pullback, and then we can look for another opportunity to get in for a buy. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for. Now, even on the 1 hour time frame, on 1 hour time frame structure, okay, notice here, okay, so we ended up breaking structure here. All right, we broke structure on this candle, price respected. We ended up getting that retest, and now we created support here. So that's showing very, very good signs for us that we are still looking to go this way. All right, that looks really good for us. Now, these lines here, that's just something that I have marked up. Paying attention to just a key point. All right, just paying attention to a key point, but I don't really need these. This was more so for myself to give y'all just in the event an exit on Friday if we ended up pushing up there. I was going to tell y'all to go ahead and close y'all positions up there. But if you wanted to keep holding, but right here, even though we took that 200-point loss, this was still 400 points. So if you got right back in this trade, all right, you got right back in this trade, we were still looking good, and you would have still profited 200 points on the day, even with the loss. So this is why, again, too, I don't really get hung up on losing trades, because I know when I give a signal to you guys, our risk to reward is so good that we'll make it back. All right. That will make it back. So I'm not really too hung up on having a losing trade. As a matter of fact, we had a very, very big week in the market for weeks now. All right. Since I made a certain adjustment, I've only been looking for us to take entries during the New York session. Notice I haven't really given anything at night anymore. All right. I've been liking giving opportunities during New York. We've been taking one trade, maybe two on a re-entry such as this. All right, we got stopped out. And then if you were paying attention to the chat, I said our initial entry is still good. I still feel that's valid. You could have got it right back in and then took that to take profit. All right. And you would have been good. You would have made your money back, and then you would have been up on the day. All right. Overall, even if you didn't and you lost this trade, it's still a profitable week. So we had this losing trade, doesn't even matter. It still was we made so many pips this week, it's crazy. I still got to tally that up. All right. We had two 10,000 pip days. And then there's some other days in there where it was hundreds of points. All right. But we were looking good. But all in all, we're still pushing to the upside on US 30. Notice here, we're not breaking lows. So even though this sell was taking place, it was not a good call to take any sell. All right. Not a good call to take any sell, because we are not breaking lows here. Okay. So we have a low, we have a higher low, higher low, higher low. This is nothing but just a retest of structure right here. Another double bottom situation, and then breaking structure, creating a higher high. All right. So if lows are being protected and highs are being swiped, we are buying. All right. In the event we start swiping lows and we start getting candle closure below the lows, then we are looking to go short. But that is not what took place. So that's why I knew this was not valid. Okay. The sells were not valid. Not at all. All right. And I've been saying that, since last week. I am not interested in any sales whatsoever. I am only looking to go long. All right. Only looking to go long here. All right. Before we move on, questions on US 30. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's move on here. Let's go to NAS. All right. I don't even know what NAS looks like, but but we'll go over it. Let's start off on the daily time frame. Okay. So you can do our top-down analysis, and then we can kind of see. All right. So on NAS too. All right. So on NAS, they don't have necessarily the same image, different image. But on NAS, we definitely created that low, and then price created a nice, strong bullish engulf. And this is very, very, very strong volume to the upside here. And this is doing nothing but a pullback, just retesting. So once I start going down to the lower time frame, then we'll be able to actually dissect that and actually look a little deeper. All right. But definitely, I am looking for the market to keep rallying to the upside. Okay. Now, if I come up to now, notice we broke structure here where this line is. Now, where are we at? We are literally right back above structure. All right. We're right back above structure. Notice when we were above structure here, we went long. Okay. We are right back above that structure point, and we are looking to continue long. In the event we start selling back below this area, all right, maybe we look to go short. Maybe the market wants to, swipe liquidity a little deeper. All right. But I think they still continue pushing to the upside for now. All right. And then when Trump is ready to actually resume the tariffs, more than likely we'll see that drop, because we are technically breaking structure on the bigger time frame to the upside. Right now, this is just a pullback, but we can take advantage of the pullback. All right. A lot of times I don't necessarily recommend you guys counter against the trend. All right. But if you guys are skilled enough and you understand what's going on and the flow of the market, you can more than certainly do that and take advantage of those counter trends. All right, let's go to the 4 hour here. All right, so on the 4 hour time frame, all right, this was beautiful right here, giving us that nice bullish engulfing and breaking structure right here. Okay, kind of like US 30. All right, we broke these highs. That wasn't nothing but a retest right here of structure. Now we actually caught this sell. Okay, so let's revisit that. Okay, so right here we took advantage of this sell. All right, we took advantage of this sell. I'll have to go down to the lower time frame, but we entered while it was live, and then we ended up getting that TP. Now I didn't go lower because I wanted to make sure that this actually hit, but that was 530 points. That was 530 point push on, when was that? That was on, let me move this out the way real quick. That was on Thursday. Yeah. So 530 point on Thursday. And we hit TP to the upside on NAS on this day. Also, that was on Monday. All right. So that was 530 points. So, I mean, Monday we killed NAS also. So that's over 1,000 points just between those trades there. That's not including the other trades that we had on NAS. So that was really good. Or I think this was the week prior. Excuse me. That was invalid. That was the week prior. But this one, we caught that 530 point push to the downside. All right. As I knew that we needed, this was just a selling day. All right. So for me, I'm not necessarily forming a bias one way or the other. So just talking for a minute, that's something that you guys got to, never get too one-sided. All right. It becomes very challenging on traders. Once you form a bias, that's the only thing that you see now. So if you feel it is only buying, you'll never be able to adjust if the market starts showing you that it wants to sell. Now, because we're doing something more intraday, when I seen this sell, all right, that's why I gave you guys the sell. All right. But I knew we would get a nice little healthy move for the day. So 530 points, but I am still overall biased to the upside. But I know how to adjust. All right. If the market starts showing me something different. Now, when we were down here, I didn't want to sell at all, even though this was selling. I wasn't going to place a sell because I knew at any moment we were going to have this big move. And this is the move I wanted us to start capitalizing on. So when this was happening, the week prior, a week, 2 weeks ago, whatever this was, right? I was not interested in this move. All right. I didn't want it. It could have fell another 1,000 points. It's perfectly fine. This was on a Friday and it gapped down on Sunday. It did this and then it resumed direction. But this is the move I wanted us to be in because I knew when it was time, it was going to be smooth. It was going to be clean. I'm not really too keen on trying to sell the indices because I just know they're designed to go up. That asset, all the indices, they're designed to go up. We can have strong pullbacks in the market, but ultimately, they're designed to increase in value. So at any moment, you just never know when they're going to want to correct something and it's big moves back to the upside. All right. So, but with NAS, we are breaking structure to the upside. Okay. We broke this structure point. That was nothing but a retest. All right. And then now we're resuming direction. So this is a higher low situation that could potentially lead us into a higher high. Okay. That could potentially lead us to a higher high and we could target this structural point right here. Okay, we could target this right there, and that'll be a nice move to the upside for us on NAS in this coming week. All right, that is going to be 972, almost 1,000 point push to the upside. Okay, let's see how the market opens up on Sunday. I'm not really interested on taking any plays on Sunday, but if you do, just be on the lookout to continue to the buy side on NAS. All right, it's not showing us any signs of bearishness right now. All right, so therefore you shouldn't be looking to actually take any sales. All right. So right here, this upper trend line right here was broken even on NAS. We ended up getting that break. We got a nice retest, and this is a nice rejection right off that level. We are definitely going to continue to the upside, and you could even target these previous highs here on NAS. All right, at the 1 hour time frame. All right, definitely. Questions on NAS? I hope that makes sense. All right. Let's just keep it very, very simple. The most simplest thing on the market The most simplest thing on the chart is the most effective thing. All right. You guys really don't need too much on the chart. You don't really need to look at too much in detail. Just pay attention to, you know, um, the small things, um, and the detail of what the market just want what the market wants. That's it. Okay. That is literally the holy grail to trading. Want what the market wants. All right. If the market is buying and we are swiping highs, you want to be a buyer, right? If we are breaking lows, you want to be a seller. That's why I said I don't need to um, form a bias one way or another. I just need the market to show me what it wants to do, and then we're riding that way. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's move on. Any questions on NAS before I move on? Let's go to gold. We haven't even touched gold. It's like it's not even needed right now. Like we are making so much money right now on the indices that I mean, I'll go over gold in case there is people that actually want to trade gold. Gold right now is let's see where gold is at. Gold is gold just made a higher high. Wow, look at that. Gold blitzed up 3,200. Wow, massive move to the upside. Okay. Hard to pinpoint here on gold because now it's a higher high situation and there's no structural points up here. All right. So yeah, I'm just not even going to touch gold as of right now unless we start breaking below a low, right? Then that'll give us a nice reversal. Now, what I will tell you is this, okay? What I will tell you is this. Let me get rid of this real quick. All right. We definitely are creating um, bearish divergence. So I'm definitely seeing a reversal in our near future on gold and a big move. All right. Notice how the market here is pushing up, and in our oscillator here, the market is pushing down, but this is steady coming down to the downside, but we're making higher highs. Okay, so we are definitely showing signs of reversal coming soon. All right, on gold. All right, so the moment I start seeing some structure breaks, maybe if I'm paying attention, because like I said, I haven't really been paying attention to gold, but this is setting up for a really, really nice move. So I might really keep my eyes on gold so we could take advantage of this hard pullback that is about to happen. I really like what I'm seeing right now with bearish divergence being shown on a bigger scale. All right, on the 4 hour time frame. So I would definitely uh, look for, you know, if this structure point right here breaks, you know, and we enter a situation where we break below, candle closure, give us the retest, and then that dump. Okay. That is what I'll be looking for sure on gold. But I'm not going to jump the gun on that. All right. I'm not going to jump the gun on that because the market actually has to show me that it wants to do that. So even though I'm kind of seeing that it's kind of forming and setting up that way, I just won't be interested until it actually shows me that. All right. And this is part of trading. You just got to really, really be patient and let the market set it up for you. All right. Don't jump in too early. Don't try to catch the sale thinking that this is the top because you never know. They can push this up another 100 pips on you before they make the move. And then when they make the move, that's your time to get in. All right. It's not necessarily about trying to get the very, very perfect entry, the top or the bottom. It is just trying to get the correct entry. All right. And sometimes waiting for the opportunity to be in on the market when it's the right time, you may not be at the top or the bottom. All right. Now I'm pretty good at catching very high tops and bottoms or whatever, but right here as we're making higher highs, I don't want to sit here and guess. All right. I really need to be patient here and let the market. It's already showing me the signs of reversal. All right. So that's the biggest thing. So now we just need to be patient and wait. Once it sets it up, we can slaughter them. All right. We can slaughter them for sure. All right. And then we'll be waiting for that. Questions on gold. Not too much on gold yet, but it's setting up for us to actually catch a nice move to the downside on gold. No questions? All right. Let's go to GJ. Break down GJ real quick. I haven't looked at GJ either. Hasn't really been a need, honestly. The indices have been doing us justice. This is a mess. Let me clean this up. All right. Let's look. All right. So we're back in this structural point right here. That was a nice, strong engulfing candle with a nice retest right back at that level and a candle closure right back. I'd say we buying GJ, honestly. That shit is just a buy right back up to there. Okay, because we definitely broke structure right here on that daily time frame and never retested that level. So that is 191.994. Okay. And you know, if we end up taking this, we'll look to take this during the Asian session. All right, during the Asian session or the London session. All right, I'll make sure to write that down because that's looking like a very good setup for us to take. Okay, we definitely broke structure right here. All right, we definitely broke structure, and even if I put this fib up, okay, put that fib up, we got a nice rejection right at the 718, and then yeah, I mean we could take it right up there to that negative 27. So that's a nice. That is a nice move to the upside. What is that? How many pips is that? That is a nice push to the upside. 356 pips. 356 push up there. So this would have been a nice rejection right there to the upside. Now, this is all just a measurement of how deep this pullback was, okay? That's really all the fibs is, okay? So it pulled back 78%. All right, so if you guys didn't really know that, I know some people don't even really explain that too well, but that basically was a 78% pullback from this move here, okay? From this strong push to the upside, 78%. And then we should resume direction. We just broke structure right there, so that pullback was valid, and then we get that continuation to the upside. All right? That makes sense? All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's look at Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin is pushing. Yes. I'm actually currently in a buy on Bitcoin. Okay. That thing is launching right now for me. I think we push all the way up here. Honestly, I definitely see us going to 87,000. All right. It was a little risky. It was because this could have went either way. Right here. Last night, I entered this late last night, and then I ended up going to bed. Let me look at that. I don't know what I'm up currently because I just entered this on my flip account. So, yeah, I'm up $200. So yeah, it was a nice move to the upside. But I still feel like, okay, so now we're getting right back above this structural point. Okay, so this is why I was hesitant. I wasn't keen on sending the signal quite yet because I understand, look at all this consolidation at this level. Every time it touched right there, it rejected. So I knew we were approaching this level. So yeah, let's see how much time we got left. We got 8 hours left. All right, 8 hours left. We'll see what happens here, but you can potentially look for a retest at this level at 84, 630. Wait on that retest. And then if you're going to trade Bitcoin, you could take it up here to these highs here. All right. You take it up there to that high at, what is that? 88,000. All right. About 88,000. And then that's what you wait for. All right. So I wanted to send this to y'all, but I knew we were approaching this resistance level. All right. Right here. And every time we touch it, it rejects. Touches it, rejects. Touches, rejects. So I didn't want that to happen to y'all quite yet. So this was an early entry. I just was seeing something else, and I'm like, let me shoot my shot. Again, this was me just working this flip account. All right, but as far as giving y'all a play, this is more of a secured entry. All right, get that candle closure above this level, and then shoot your shot to keep going higher on Bitcoin. All right. And we should reach these areas here. We've been trying to reach this area for weeks now. We've been talking about this, okay, to get back up here to 91,000. Notice we didn't quite do that yet. All right. So right here, all as they did was swipe liquidity here. All right. We ended up swiping liquidity. All right. And then immediately we're right back above that level. All right. We broke back above this level. All it did is it respected this level yet again, and then it's pushing off. All right. So I do like that. So right here at 78,000, all right, 78,176, this level here, price definitely respected that. So then now we should be continuing to the upside on Bitcoin. So if you like a weekend play, keep your eyes on that, and then keep continuing to go long on Bitcoin. All right, as of right now, because right now we're starting to break structure to the upside. So on a 4-hour time frame, you got 23 minutes. So instead of waiting on the daily, you could potentially look on the 4-hour time frame. All right, wait 23 minutes here in a second, and then look for that potential retest back in this vicinity here, and then and then look to go long. All right, does that make sense on Bitcoin? Because you're breaking structure. Okay, so if we actually break this down, notice right here, these was previous lows, price broke below. All right, we created that double bottom, definitely created some resistance right in this vicinity here for sure. We ended up breaking. This was the pullback, and then this was the continuation, and then now price should continue back up here to these highs for sure, for sure at 88,000. All right, that would be a safe. This would be a safe little exit. Now notice right here, we ended up consolidating right here when price got that retest. All it did was it was a hard rejection off that level. So that's why I'm saying this more than likely will be a safe exit, being that past history really respected this level to the downside. All right, so you don't want to necessarily take a chance at seeing if we're going to break. Let the market actually show you that it wants to break this level before you continue going higher. All right, just take it level by level, because at any moment they can slam this right back to the downside there. But we still need to break this level here, all right, which I think we will. We got 21 minutes left. So we break right back above this level. This was a previous level of resistance. All right. Notice when it's right here, it's sold off. Now we're breaking back above. So more than likely on that next 4-hour, we get that strong pullback and then that rally to the upside. That makes sense on Bitcoin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. All right. Anything else that y'all want to go over? Let's look at oil. I know Aaron likes looking at oil. Let's look at that, because I haven't really paid attention to that at all. So let's see what that is doing. Created a lower high here. All right, didn't even make its way up there. Now, what I do like is on this is that we didn't break this. All it did, that was a swipe liquidity right here. And they swiped those lows and immediately broke back above this structure. So I think we can see some upside on oil, honestly. All right. We can see upside still up here to this next trend line. All right. You can definitely see price go up there. But price isn't also, we did break some structure. This was a deep, deep pullback. All right. It did create that higher high. And so let's see if we can get that push. All right. So if you actually trade this, if you actually trade oil, I know I don't, but that can be some nice upside movement. All right. To the upside forming for sure. All right. I definitely like the way that looks. I like the way it's respecting and creating support at this level and not really wanting to go lower. All right. So that's showing signs of, hey, let's go long. All right. So you can look to potentially go long there on oil. All right. I think that is it, unless you guys want to look at another pair. That not a whole lot having to be broken down, honestly, being that the market is definitely still just doing its continuation to the upside on the indices. And, like I said, with Trump pausing the tariffs, and now they're in negotiations with a bunch of countries. All of them are trying to now negotiate. So, hey, that's great. I mean, he knows what he's doing. Like, there's not this ain't no surprise. He knows exactly what he's doing. But he's making for all of us traders, he's making traders a lot of money right now. Like this is prime time to like be a trader, seriously, because the way I used to think Jerome Powell used to move mountains. Trump tweets one thing or says one thing, and this thing is moving 1,000 points in one day. You know what I mean? 1,000 points. 100 points used to be 200 points used to be a real big move. That's nothing anymore. Now it's like 500 points. That's why I got to be cautious with y'all with the stop losses because these 15-minute candles, right? So, right, these 15-minute candles, bro, are big. They don't look big. They look normal, right? But they're big. Like that's 400 points. This red candle. That's 400 points. That's big. And I knew we were going to get this push, man. Chris, I'm actually glad you held your trade, right? I'm glad you held that trade because I knew that's why I was trying to give y'all live updates inside the VIP because I just was like, nah, I'm not buying this sell. It just and that's why I kept saying we'll look for that re-entry. I'm like, in the event we start swiping these lows, then maybe we can look for a potential push to the upside. But for right now, like price was definitely, holding here. All we did was just create support right here. All right, we just created support. That's it, and then we're launching to the upside. Plus, once I seen this too, this was that 1 hour trend line break. I'm like, nope. Notice price was respecting here. We came right here and it pushed right back above, right? So we definitely were respecting this. We weren't breaking that. All right. And then, here would be another one. All right. On a smaller time frame, that would be another one. Price slightly broke above. That was the retest. And then boom, right off that trend line. Okay. And then now we should just be targeting these highs up here. All right. Should just be targeting those highs. And then y'all can just keep doing it. I mean, it's creating them. I mean, there's a little one right here also. Okay. There's a little one. Now, how you do this is you can, easier way is you can look for a high, right? When you're buying, you can look for a high, a lower high. Okay. That'll be like your 2 point touch. All right. And then you can draw one. All right. So you got a high, lower high, you can draw one. And then you can wait on that break. And then boom, you can get in. All right. Same thing on the sell side. All right. On the sell side, it would be vice versa. Right. So it would basically be, right, you would have a low, higher low, and then you'd be waiting on that break. But in this case, like we're not getting it. So like over here, right, this would have been valid. So you had a low, higher low, and then you had the break. All right. And then that would be like your 2 point touch like this. So you're low, higher low, and then you're waiting on that break. So then that break, then you get in for the sell. All right. But then you don't get in. And then if it doesn't break, no harm, no foul. You stay out of the trade. See what I mean? So if you are using trend lines, you can do that. All right. You can do that. But you want to just actually wait for the break. If it doesn't break, guess what? You don't even take the trade. Okay. But as we're moving up, the market should continue to keep making these highs, lower highs situation, these upper trend lines, and then we just wait for the break. That's a very, very easy way for you guys to catch opportunities in the market and capitalize on these bigger moves. Just using that. Okay. Keep it very, very simple. All right. Y'all don't need to overcomplicate trading. All right. Don't overcomplicate it.
I did want to say one thing. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, my bad. I would say it's easy. It's now easier for me to hold longer when it comes to like US 30 and NAS 100 because a lot size of zero point zero 0.01 or zero point zero 0.02 or either one can go so far. So it's just like and it doesn't blow my account at the
Yep.
same time. So that's why I was able to hold that because I think I went down like it was like 500-600
Mm-hmm.
before I placed that second entry at that double bottom.
Mm-hmm. Right here.
And it just went, yep, and it just went right back up. So I was just like, all right, that's cool. Cause I don't even think I went over maybe still around like 20% of my account when it took that drop. So I was like, I'll hold it even longer if I need to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that's good, right? Because on the bigger scale, like we're buying these little pullbacks, that's just to confuse people thinking that we're selling. But ultimately, like if the telltale sign is, well, what are we doing here? Like, are we like, it was in a little bit of squeeze, all right, because we were creating a high, a lower high, right? We started creating lower highs in the market, right? And then, but we weren't making lower lows neither. So that's when I was saying price is in a little squeeze right here. We were ranging right here. And I think Aaron, he noticed that also, right? We were in a little range. We weren't really breaking out quite yet. All right. And I needed to actually see that. But I knew that the market was still good for our buy because off the higher time frame, we are still pushing to the upside. That's why sometimes on when you're looking at the lower time frame, it's easy to get confused and forget about what the higher time frame is saying. So that's really training yourself to remember when you're on the chart. That's why it's very, very good to have a journal next to you and make notations. All right, you can write little notes so that way you can remember. So that way when you're on the chart physically and you're looking at it, all right, you can be reminded because it's right there. So that way you're just not like, man, I said it was going to buy. I don't know why I started taking sales, right? Or vice versa, right? Those are just very, very good reminders that you can do for yourself to keep you on the right side of the market. All right, because we're just not breaking. The market's going to show you, right? The market's going to tell you every time. Okay, the market's going to show you. Okay, are we breaking lows? Okay, maybe I need to be looking for sales, but also too, you can't confuse yourself with internal structure versus a low, right? So, like for instance, this low right here is the low that created this high, right? So this low created this high. Everything in between here is just internal structure, right? Is internal structure. In the event the market breaks this low, okay, now I need to actually be looking, am I on the wrong side of the market? Because all of this means absolutely nothing. All right, that means absolutely nothing. This is what matters. This low is the low that matters. All right, everything else in between don't matter. And then this high is what matters. Notice how we broke. Boom, we broke with aggression. It gave us the little retest. We should get the continuation. Okay, we should get the continuation. But so sometimes people can get confused with the internal structure and like, oh, I need to be selling. And then immediately the market goes against them. Like, damn, what happened? All right. So this is just very, very key. Just keep your eyes on that and just remember that. All right. And that's really all it is, to be honest. But just pay attention to that. But I knew, that's why I was kind of giving you guys those live updates so that way y'all can know and be aware of what's going on, what I'm looking at, and why I'm telling y'all what I'm telling y'all. Okay, and I'm showing you, and then we can continue to keep going that way. All right. Now, even if this market pulls back and we swipe this low, it wouldn't matter. Okay, it wouldn't matter. It would not matter. All right. Because it could do a deeper pullback, and that's perfectly fine. I would still be waiting to go long. All right, I'm not interested in any sales at the moment. Not interested in no sales. And if the market just sells, guess what? I will just wait, and I will wait till we get a buy opportunity. All right, unless the market, just decides to start breaking lows again, then it's like, all right, cool. Then I'll flip my bias and then we'll start selling. All right. But until then, as of right now, from what I see, that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening on the chart. So therefore, I'm not going to be too much interested in the sell. All right. Now, when I gave y'all that sell for 530 points, I just knew that was going to be a selling day. That's the only reason why I really gave you the sell. I'm like, well, we'll take advantage of the sell. It's going to be a selling day. And it was. And it ended up selling. That's the only reason why I gave y'all a sell. Mainly for us to just take advantage of an opportunity. But ultimately, I'm still wanting us to continue long to the upside. All right. So just keep that in mind when you guys are on the lower time frame. Please don't get confused. Sometimes it's very, very easy to do. Now, if you're scalping, that's something different. That is a whole nother thing. If you're scalping, you're only going to be in the market for so many points anyway. You might be in there for 100 points. The way this market is moving, 100 points is a scalp at this point, right? So if you're countering, that's perfect. You know, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. If you're scalping, that's something completely different. But if you're actually looking to catch a bigger move, you're going to have to be on the right side of the higher time frame. All right. You can't really look for those counters and try to catch a big move on a counter. All right. Now, in this case, I knew we could because I just knew from the higher time frame we were coming up on a big move based off of what the higher time frame was showing me. That's why we, capitalized and we're buying and and we're taking this counter. So something completely different. But all of my basis came from the higher time frame. It wasn't the shorter time frame making that decision. I don't make any decision on the lower time frame. All right. That's because I want to see y'all get paid. And the only way to see y'all get paid, like I can give y'all 50 points every single day. That ain't no money. I'm trying to give y'all, like I said, 500 points, 1,000 points. All right. Now y'all going to start seeing money. Now y'all accounts are growing. All right. And that's what I want to see. All right. So sometimes it's a little bit more patience when you're actually waiting for the market to set up to get those bigger moves like that. Make sense? All right, y'all. Well, if y'all don't have any other questions for me, we'll end here. I will see y'all tomorrow. Give me a second. I will have this posted up so that way y'all can rewatch it. And then I'll put this on my YouTube, and then you guys will be able to view it once I share the link inside the channel. All right. So if y'all got any questions, as always, y'all can hit me up. All right, privately, whatever, or in the chat, and I'm here for y'all. All right, and we are looking for another big week all next week, and let's continue to run it up. All right, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow and all next week. Let's get it.
Thanks, Steve.
You got a question?
No, I was saying thanks.
Okay. Yep. You're welcome, bro. I'll see y'all later.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.